very much.
I'll call to order the Schenectady Urban Renewal Agency. First item on the agenda is to accept the minutes from our August 15th meeting, moved by Mr. Palomini, second by Mr. Mudaviran. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Minutes stand adopted. Next item is Resolution 2016-12, the approval of our investment policy, moved by Mr. Palomini, second by Mr. Kosher. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The investment report stands adopted. Next item is Resolution 2016-13, approval of the procurement policy, moved by Mr. Palomini, second by Mr. Kosher. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Procurement policy stands adopted. Next item is the 2017 budget. Entertain a motion, moved by Mr. Palomini, seconded by Mr. Mudaviran. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The budget stands adopted. Is there any other business to come before the agency?
Motion to adjourn.
Moved by Mr. Kosher, second by Mr. Palomini. The agency stands adjourned. Thank you.
Nice job, Jackie. She's a good lady.
Okay, I'm going to call Finance Committee to order. First item on the agenda is the agreement between the City of Schenectady and the IUOE local. Mr. Ferrari.
Madam President, Mayor, City Council, the last agreement with the International Union of Operating Engineers, IUOE Local 158, ended December 31st, 2015. Negotiations were conducted, and the results have proposed some changes to certain terms of the agreement. As you can see on the second page, there's the agreement, the changes to the agreement. These changes, the proposed changes, represent changes to salaries and different salaries and per diem salaries throughout the workers of the International Union. Reaction to these changes in salaries are the increased cost. We are going to make transfer within the Bureau to make these reappropriations in the budget neutral for the 2016 budget. We're hoping that we recommend that you accept the terms of the agreement and the reappropriation of the 2016 budget.
Questions? Ms. Porterfield.
So just for clarification. So the first line item, so you're saying that the first line item, this is fuel?
Yes, so we're reducing the fuel account under that bureau and increasing the per diem salary.
So, okay, so even though it's like two very different things, it's okay to use fuel and then put it into a salary line?
Yes. Okay. In this case, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Other questions? Mr. Mudaviran.
We're looking here at a 2% increase, 1.75 and then 0.25.
Right, and there'll be retroactive payments to these individuals, and these are the amounts for the rest of the year. That's why the recommendation of put the amounts are retroactive, plus the rest of the 25 for the rest of the year.
Other questions?
So what are we voting on right now? We're only voting on
Budget reappropriation.
the very first one that we're looking at. Correct?
Well, you should vote for the raise for the agreement first, then the budget appropriation.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
We're backwards.
They put it backwards.
That's correct. All right.
Okay. So, if there's no other questions, we'll go to comments. Seconded by Mr. Kosher. All those in favor?
Aye.
And then, a motion for the budget reappropriation. Mr. Kosher, seconded by Mr. Palomini. All those in favor? Aye. Very good. And you're on the hot seat tonight. All three items there.
I'm hoping to skip to the third one and leave the second one last, because there will be more talking on that.
Sure.
Okay.
2016 budget reappropriation of a different sort.
Right.
Mr. Ferrari.
There we go. Put my glasses on there. Okay, the city's code department utilizes an outside consultant to accomplish certain plan reviews and inspections that are occurring at the Mohawk Harbor. It's the city's intent to use the revenues created by the issuance of the permits that these construction companies have paid for the permits. And we want to use some of the costs that we have received to appropriate additional consultant services, so to pay our consultants through the rest of the year. We estimate consulting services through Chazen for the construction of the Mohawk Harbor plant to be about $142,000. The consultant is on behalf of the codes department, and we're hoping to use, as you can see, the different permit fees that we are receiving to access this money for the codes fees for the services for the Mohawk Harbor expenses.
It's my understanding, Mr. Farrar, that we are not exceeding the amount of revenue that's been brought in from the the permits that have been applied.
That is correct. Yes,
We're still underneath that amount.
Yes, we're still way underneath that.
Questions? Mr. Mutaveri?
So if I'm getting this correct, we're using the proceeds from the fee for offset to pay the consultant.
Correct.
And whatever we're receiving is going back.
Oh, no, the portion of what we're receiving is what we're paying the consultant. We estimate the consultant fees from this July of 2016 through December to be $142,000.
We only use this when it exceeds our ability to do it with in-house staff, just the amount of work that's going on at that site.
Yes, it's consulting reviews, also inspections that are happening right now. And it's the heaviest lift of the thing is happening right now with this Mohawk Harbor, where especially electrical and plumbing with the hotel going online and the casino with all the one-armed bandits going online. It's
Questions?
definitely needed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. And our last item, which is the 2016 budget reallocation for the 2016 payment pursuant to agreement between the City of Schenectady and the Police Benevolent Association.
As you recall, the June of 2016 resolution 2016-163, the City of Schenectady executed an agreement with the PBA that contained retro payments back to 2014. Actually, we had retro payments for 2014, 15, and up to July of 2016, and plus the budget for the rest of the year of 2016. In the 2016 budget, we did not appropriate the sum of this contract, the 2016 budget. And what we're asking is that the city to use the certain revenues created by the licensing fee received at the casino to support these costs, a portion of it.
Questions? Mr. Kosher?
So just a couple of comments here. So somebody can help me with this because I wasn't here. We didn't have any funding set aside for anticipated pay raises for 14 or 15 in our budget at all?
No, we did not.
And so I'm assuming it's the same with fire. We didn't anticipate anything for fire contracts?
That's correct.
So we're going to be hit with that same number or close to that
I
number
will let you keep that in
shortly.
mind. I will let you keep that in mind because I believe I'm going to be up there requesting.
All right. All right. And certainly I'm very supportive of the Schenectady Police Department and fire and all that, but I have a major problem with taking the revenue from the casino licensing fee. We had talked about that as going to whatever revenues we're going to receive, we're going to try to put the majority of it, if not all of it, towards decreasing our property taxes to our city residents, which is very, very important. When Ms. Perazzo and I spoke in front of the Gaming Commission, the New York State Gaming Commission, that was one of the things that we reiterated to that board was that we really wanted to use the revenues, anticipated revenues from that casino towards reducing property taxes, to create jobs in the city, and of course to have additional help for the school district. And I understand we've got the $2.5 million, I believe, whatever we received, and I would just rather see this 1.6 that you're talking about come from our surplus and holding on to this casino licensing fee revenue, as we had talked about for the budget process, coming very shortly, obviously, in hopes of anticipation of lowering our property taxes to the city residents. And I think that's very, very important. Rather than using this gaming revenue to offset contractual obligations to the police and, of course, fire coming up, I just think we have to do what we had said we were going to do in the campaign as well, that we're going to reduce property taxes with this revenue from the casino, and I'd really like to see that line changed to be taken from the surplus.
And I can understand your reason for that, and as a taxpayer, big taxpayers do spend it.
Right.
I understand that also, but we also have to look at the facts that that revenue is a perfect matching principle for a county with this, because we have the expenditures matching with the revenue that we did not appropriate, with the expenses we did not appropriate. And we agree, it's enough, the county term the matching principle for a county. The other thing too is that we have to, look at our fund balance. We already anticipate, we don't like to use it, but we are anticipate using almost $2.8 million in our budget already for 2016. We increased it by another 1.6, we're looking at a $4 million use, and I would not like to see our rating agencies see that we're running into our fund balance. I'm hoping what we can do is use this the licensing fee money and the revenue for that to match our expenses for the fire department, but also hold the line so that at the end of the year we can not go into any of our fund balance at all.
So where would you have gotten this money? We didn't have the revenue from the casinos.
It came from fund balance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I understand what you're saying. I just completely disagree with you on this. We have got to reduce property taxes, and I understand what you're saying. We've got the money in the fund balance. We're anticipating revenues of over $3 million next year coming from the casino as well, from New York State. At least 3. They're telling us 3, 5, whatever they're telling us. But there's some revenue coming in, additional revenue. I just really wanted to make sure that we take this from another line, not from the line that we had talked about to reduce property taxes.
But this line's not going to be used to reduce property taxes in 2016. This revenue is going to be used to offset all the expenses of 2016. Hopefully, we're going to be under. I mean, we're not at the end of the year yet, but if not, we're going to have to use some of those revenues no matter what. I feel.
Mr. Paul.
So, I agree with Mr. Kosher that there needs to be a tax cut, but in essence, what he's suggesting is nothing more than shuffling around numbers. So, in essence, what you're saying is basically a neutral point in order to not affect our ratings.
That is correct.
So, I would agree with that method.
But ultimately, at the end of the day, this council is charged with finding a way to reduce our taxpayers' burden. And that is something that I know we are very committed to. So is it simply that we end up during the budget process, and I don't know the answer to this question, but is it simply that we end up during the budget process of using more of the general fund to offset the budget so that we can still produce a tax reduction for our taxpayers? And is that, how does that look? You know what I mean? So right now, the budget includes a payment to our general fund of close to $3 million. Going forward next year, likely the budget that's presented to us will include the same. So if the council then turns around to use the general fund to provide some of the general fund and to provide the tax relief for our taxpayers, is it just showing even more use of the general fund in our budget, where right now we could offset an expense from our general fund but not actually have it as part of our budget? Don't know the answer to that, but interested in the answer to that, right? Because then, if we wait until the 2017 budget, are we showing $4 million or $4.5 million of use from our general fund, which would not be favorable for our rating either? So what's the lesser of two evils?
I believe less than 2 years will use the casino revenues, the fee from the casino, to use it now. Hopefully, save some money at the end of the year, so that our fund balance would increase, so that if we do need them to increase our tax cut by the general fund, we would have it. Whereas if we start, keep hatching away at it, there might not be all that at the end.
I'm going to take this Porterfield first.
Sorry, go ahead.
Mr. Ferrari, when you were explaining it, you said something about, so the way you said it, it sounds like you indicated that we absolutely needed to spend this before the end of 2016. Is that what you were?
No, we don't have to spend the revenue, no. And that's what I'm saying. I only want to use a portion of the revenue for the police, and like Mr. Porter said, it's probably for the fire also of that revenue. Hopefully, we'll have enough to go through 2017 without using all of it. We're hoping for a surplus.
Just want to make sure I understood you.
Mr. Porter.
And again, I just want to reiterate, the main purpose, one of the main reasons I really believe that the city of Schenectady received this casino licensing was we met all three criterias of that state proposition that was everybody voted on: to reduce property taxes, to invest in employment, jobs, and to invest in our schools, not to settle contracts for the police and the fire. Again, I am for the police and fire 100%. Take it out of surplus, that's where the money is. This money has got to stay. You put it back in surplus, you're not going to lose anything. It's a wash. Just like Mr. Palmini said, I just want to change that line, not to say it's coming from our casino revenue. And I think that's an important piece that our taxpayers, and again, we ran on that promise as candidates. That is where that money was going to go towards. I'm all done talking.
Can I understand what Mr. Kosher's position is in the narrative that goes with it? It's correct in terms it's a wash, in terms of the bottom line. The city is strengthening its overall financial position. And the recommendation that is coming from staff is, again, reflected toward the review by the rating agencies. So that by not using the fund balance for this particular transaction, we're using unbudgeted revenue for it, will show that we're not drawing off the fund balance. And I'm also looking to have a rating increase as we go forward, which will reduce the overall expenses for the city. By moving in and out of the fund balance, it creates more of a complicated narrative for the rating agencies, and has the potential to delay our ability to get rating increases.
Mr. Gutierrez.
No, I just echo Mr. Kosher's sentiments, and I fully agree with him. I think when we voted for the casino, it was more money from the casino towards tax reduction. And I think we were told that there was money available when we voted for the contract, the police contract, that money was available to offset this increase. So I'm kind of worried that we're taking the money from the casino to offset this. Nothing against the police, but we should stick to what the agreement is. The agreement is to money from the casino to offset tax reduction, and I am going to stick with that. You should utilize the surplus for this line item.
Just want to let you know, I cannot guarantee that we're going to have a surplus with that revenue or without it.
That doesn't
Are
make
you
sense.
saying you can't guarantee we're going to have a surplus at the end of our budget season with an influx of $2.5 million coming into the city of unbudgeted revenue?
Yeah. Well, because we're going to be using the 1.6 million of,
I just want to make sure I understand. Mr. Palmini.
Just the ballpark, if our rating goes up, let's say a tick, how much approximately would we be saving?
We're looking at, right now, what's happening in the industry right now, as you hear also, is that the credit and interest ratings are going to probably be pushed up by the feds. We're looking at 0.25%, but when we're talking about $20-30 million, 0.25%, over 30 years.
And using that, I'll ask again though, but using that money out of the general fund during the budgeting process would have the same impact, correct?
Correct.
Mr. Coach?
Exactly, that's exactly, and again, 5% to a city property tax owner is more important as well. Again, we have folks that are struggling to make ends meet. You just said you're a major property tax owner here. The biggest thing we heard is our property taxes. My goodness, great, and that is why I still believe we were the reason we got that casino. We had some great partnerships involved and a great application, but we definitely have the need here in the city of Schenectady. And again, I just want to simply see that line change from the revenue from the casino to surplus, budget surplus, and I will vote in favor. Otherwise, I'm going to vote no this evening and next week as well. And I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, so it sounds to me like we should possibly do a straw poll as to who would be in favor of using the casino revenue to offset the police contract, or who would be in support of using the money from the general fund to cover that cost. So, Mr. Mutaviran?
I'm sticking to what I just mentioned. I think we should stick to the general fund. Money is there. We can utilize that. The casino fee is already set aside for the reduction of property tax.
Mr. Rigby?
This is one of those things, we're shuffling money here, shuffling money there. It's the same money. So I go along with the finance director's recommendation.
Okay, Mrs. Porterfield?
I have to agree with Mr. Dozier that because we did talk about when the casino was coming, that it would be used for property tax reduction, and our residents are looking forward to that. So I would, and again, as Mr. Mutaviran said, when we were discussing this contract and it being settled, we were told that there was money there. And so I have to agree that that we should be using the fund balance to actually settle this, because as I understood it, the money was there already, and not to use the casino.
But the money that we did mention was there, was the casino money. Well, the licensing fee money, I should say, not the casino.
Mr. Coach, I'm going to skip you.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Palomani?
I'm in favor of this. First of all, it's a balance either way. And given if we get an increase in our ratings, we'll be saving millions of dollars over a long period of time that'll allow us to potentially have a bigger tax increase over time, or at least a set of small tax decreases. Did I say increase? I meant decrease.
Yes, come on.
Yeah, tax decrease, sorry. So that'll allow us to have hopefully a small set of, over a long period of time, decreases. And I think financially that's a smarter move. And otherwise, we're potentially setting ourselves up for not an increase in our ratings. And I agree with Mr. Ferrari's plan.
And I have to say that I'm committed to a minimum of a 5% tax reduction this year, no matter what. So to me, with millions of dollars of unbudgeted revenue coming into the city, if we can't get together a tax decrease as we promised, and we're committed to, it doesn't really matter to me how it comes about, whether we do it now or whether we do it on paper in the budget. I personally think putting that use of our general fund in the actual budget for 2017 would not be of any advantage over using our general fund now. So I would have to agree. I mean, I think that this council is very committed to that tax reduction, and so if it's coming from one place, coming from another place, and we can get there through using it at this point through the general fund, then so that looks to me like we need an amendment to the language of this budget reappropriation, and I believe that what you're saying, Mr. Kocher, is that you'd like this budget reappropriation to be stated that we will be used out of the general fund for payment. And I also agree, to be honest with you, that if we did not have this money, it is what it is. You know? And our taxpayers deserve the income of this casino to benefit them. It might not always be 100%, but we have to do our very best to steward this money in the best possible way for our taxpayers, because that was our promise to them, and I feel strongly about that too. So first I will need to vote on amending the language.
I will make the amendment to take it out of the general fund. Do we not have a line item or anything like that? Do we need that? I mean, you'll figure that out for us, right?
Yeah, the general fund balance.
General fund balance is correct.
Nobody had moved any.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought we had to amend, so we're just amending the language and then we'll go to motion. Okay.
Right.
Very good, whatever works. So we'll amend that language.
I'll move that.
Mr. Kosher will move it. Mr. Palmetti will not second. I will second it. Did you have?
No, I'm good.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Anything else to come before the Finance Committee meeting?
Motion to adjourn?
Second, all those in favor? Aye. Thank you. We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Call to order the Administrative Efficiency Committee. Before you are a set of ceremonial resolutions. The first one is stand up to cancer. Obviously, cancer is a huge problem in our country, and I believe Stand Up for Cancer Day, if I remember well, is coming up on the 9th, and this would be a resolution to show support to those people in our community who deal with, it's pretty self-explanatory. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Third one is for Gold Star Mother's Day, September 25th, just to recognize those mothers who gave their children for our freedom.
Second.
Support if you, Mr. McBaron.
So just a question on all these. I'm sorry. Are we going to have people coming to our council meeting to accept these things, and you're doing all that?
Working on finalizing these as of today and tomorrow.
All right. Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Fourth is the Air Force anniversary. Anniversary of when the Air Force was created. Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. McBaron, second.
I just have a question. What anniversary is it?
It's the birthday of the beginning of the Air Force.
I know, is it 50 years old? Is it?
Oh, that I don't know. I just.
Okay. I was just, usually anniversaries have a...
Well, it's not really an anniversary so much as when it was created. It is an anniversary in that sense, but. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next is National Read a Book Day, to celebrate and encourage reading.
Constitution.
Number 5.
You missed.
Oh, sorry, I skipped over. Constitution and Citizenship Day, to celebrate our Constitution and people becoming citizens of our country. Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. McBaron.
I have a question. So this is actually a day? This
Yes.
is a day set aside for that?
It is.
Okay.
Comes up with all this stuff. That's what I want to know. You have too much time. I
Then do macaroni and cheese day. I'll second.
All those in favor? Now back to National Read a Book Day. Won't repeat what I said. Have a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And lastly, American Business Women's Day. Celebrate women in business.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Anything else to come before administrative efficiency? Anything else to come?
We already adjourned.
All right, I'm ready to roll. City Development and Planning. Let's continue with all our ceremonial resolutions here. Recognizing the Nijkerk visitors. Ms. Peraza?
Yes, we have our sister city coming to visit. I know they were paying a visit to the mayor earlier that day, but I'd like to recognize them at the council meeting. They will be attending.
Next Monday? Together here. Well, that's kind of neat.
Yes.
Well, very good. All right, any discussion? Mr. Mulderbaran, Ms. Porterfield, all right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And we're going to recognize the restaurants that participated in the SICM Mac Cheese Throw-Down, which was kind of neat. Ms. Peraza.
Yes, SICM this year was actually charged with bringing some additional press and some awareness to the SICM Summer Free Lunch Program. So one of the things that they did was they reached out to area restaurants and asked them to donate macaroni and cheese of their style throughout the parks. The mayor and myself and Reverend Grigsby and Steiner, the president of the chamber, traveled around to our city parks and judged the macaroni and cheese. And so we just like to recognize their philanthropic involvement in the SICM Mac program, and thank them for feeding our kids for a day and us.
Really? And who was the ultimate winner?
Mazone Hospitality.
It was Mazone.
Yes, they had
I missed
chopped
that.
up pickles in theirs and bacon. It was very interesting. It was very delicious. And it was blind tasting. We did not know who was they were all great.
So it wasn't like the Niskayuna water test where everything was fixed on that one? We're also
yeah,
Niskayuna.
we know.
How do they win all the time here?
Yes.
Right?
Second.
All right, second by Mr. Multivero. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Item number 3, accept 1035 and 1039 Second Avenue from the Capital Region Land Bank. Ms. Mancini, are you still there? Yes, you are. Thank you.
All right, so these two properties were identified as demolition candidates, and the land bank had some funding that they were able to put aside to demolish these in partnership with the city for the redevelopment of Orchard Park. So we transferred the properties to them, they demolished them, they are now clear sites. We would like to accept them back for the eventual incorporation into the new Orchard Park at that point in the future. So this is kind of just the first step of many to go along with the Orchard Park redevelopment plan.
Very self-explanatory. Mr. Multivero, Mr. Porterfield, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks, Ms. Mancini, appreciate that. Item number 4, revocable permit for 11-13 North Broadway. Chris is now, so you're taking that one. The next 2, right?
Yeah, the first one is for a restaurant over the 13 North Broadway where Ninja used to be. It's going to be reopened under the name Chopstick. And they want a sign that's going to be the same as they have right now. It's past the planning commission and everything else.
Right. Any questions? Moved by Ms. Porterfield, second Mr. Multivero, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And the second item, the same thing, a permit 608 for 807 Albany Street.
Yes, this is for an existing business. They'd like a local permit so they can put an awning for AA and A Market. It's going to be 25 inches long by 38 inches wide. Getting past the planning commission. Everything in engineering has been complied with. So, according to Chris, they're good to go.
Questions or concerns?
I'll move this.
No, that's-
Oh, we have a question, Ms. Porterfield.
Did you say this is not replacing current one, you're putting one on?
Yes, it's an existing business that's adding.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Sorry.
All right, moved by Ms. Porterfield, second by Mr. Multivero. Do you have a question? No, not a question. All right. All in favor, say aye.
He moved us.
It doesn't matter. Same thing. Item number 6, Mall Carver, the street names, Mr. Feltito.
As promised this spring, after we first addressed this, now we're at the point where we're ready to request the council pass that final ordinance that's going to officially name the streets and approve dedication. So we're looking for an ordinance approving most names of the streets to be dedicated to the city and authorizing the mayor to enter into whatever necessary agreement to accept the dedication of those streets once they're completed to the satisfaction of the city engineer. And the reason why we're kind of passing this now before the streets are all finished is because the Department of Transportation requires that the city own the streets before they'll put a street light up and that break in access in the middle of Erie Boulevard.
Oh.
And so that light has to go up and then it has to flash for 2 weeks so people can get used to it being there, and then it can get actually turned on for use of people going in and getting to the area.
So we don't have anything before us here in writing other than what you had just told us,
Yeah,
correct?
just that. I'm going to attach the map and the final legislation, the one that's the names that have been approved by the council already. Nothing's changed with any of that. And what we anticipate is everything will be done by the end of this month, and that will allow them to get the DOT, get the light flashing, get everything moving.
Yep, Ms. President.
Just a question, you may not be able to answer it, but coming out of the casino site, is that going to be a trip light? It just seems like we just got the traffic flow nice with the roundabout, and then we're going to have a traffic light halfway down Erie. Will it stay green, do you know? And then this trip when people have to come out of the casino site?
Hopefully
Maybe
we're
a
going to
question for
incorporate
Mr.
some
Wallen?
of the street lighting will be upgraded so it will be, as opposed to the event-driven cycles that we use on most lights now, it will sequence off the analytics from the light post. So the simple thing is if you've got 10 compact cars coming up to the light, the sequencing should be different than if you've got 10 big SUVs. And so that's the goal, to have that incorporated in this flood, so that it would run smoother and synchronize with the actual traffic flow.
In anticipation of that, the other questions for Mr. Wong. I mean, is that probably what happen in the next month or two, right?
Yes, we're going to put the lights up, and I'm not sure everything might be in place, debugging and sequencing, but we're putting it in place now, so it'll be ready to go, by Christmas time, or the first of the year.
Very good. All right. Any other discussion? Go ahead.
So what you explained is what we're going to have a resolution in front of us prior to that goes with this particular.
Yeah, I'm still working on the final language, but it's going to be substantially what I just said, but I'll make sure I send that out.
In the Friday packet, right? In the Friday packet, I'm assuming, right? Final piece.
There's no discussion on it.
Okay, moved by Mr. Motivaren, second by Ms. Porterfield. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And one final item here, we're going to amend a resolution on 10th Avenue where we just have to add the correct size of the lot. And Rachel, are you doing that? Or
Yeah,
just, it's very simple. It looks
It's
like.
just a changing of the dimensions. They're opposite. I apologize for that. Or the one that was already passed, so the dimensions are just read wrong.
Okay, any questions on that? Pretty simple. Moved by Ms. Porterfield, second by Mr. Motivaren. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, I need a motion to recess. Ms. Porterfield and Mr. Motivaren, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we are now recessed. Thank you very much.
Then I'm going to call government operations to order. Just for the council knows, but for general public information, Mr. Ferrari resigned this afternoon from the council, which will impact this committee. I'll likely be doing some committee adjustments. So we wish him all the best in his future endeavors, and he will be missed. So for now, we will go forward with government operations, with myself and Mr. Palamini. And the first item on our agenda is the affirmative action quarterly report. Ms. Tuesday.
Updated. Yeah. LP&G. And JF.
I submitted to you the WBE report, as well as a quick information about the personnel hiring for the city of Schenectady. That's on top. And what I really wanted to highlight is quite a bit of success that we've had with the public safety dispatch exam. The barrier to entry was so low. It was a high school diploma, no experience necessary. And the Affirmative Action Office aggressively recruited in the city of Schenectady. As you can see in the notice that I gave you, we had 110 applicants. Only 11 were not approved. Of the 99 applicants that were approved, 74 of them are city of Schenectady residents. And the exam is going to be this Saturday. We had an information session. We also provided them with a tour of the UCC Command Center, and I think that really helped them understand what a public dispatcher is responsible for. And we also did an exam preparation session. The UCC visit was very successful. But when we did the exam preparation session, unfortunately only 5 attended. So overall, and And this is an issue that we're hoping that with the police exam this time, that's not going to happen. Oftentimes, our applicants assume that, they don't know the process, they're just going to go in and take the exam. And I'm hoping you can help the folks that you speak with in the street understand that there is exam preparation session available to anyone that is taking a civil service exam. Even if we don't do it physical, they can call my office. And if I have exam preparation material, I would share that with them, because we don't just want them to pass the exam, but we want them to pass with a high score, because the top scorers get called in first. So this is where we're still having a little bit of difficulty when it comes to the exam preparation session. And I'm of the impression that people think that it's not necessary, and that's why they're not attending the exam preparation sessions.
For this one where there were 99 applicants and then the minority applicants who self-identified, when I'm looking at the chart, it shows me the 99. It says total approved 99, but...
Right. But remember, it is self-approved. When they come in, they have to self-identify. So if they don't identify themselves, they have a choice to say, I choose not to self-identify. If they don't identify themselves, we still accept their application, but they have an option not to identify their race, gender, or whether they're a disabled veteran.
So then it's really not 99.
No.
Yes, there were 99. There were 99 approved. 99 applicants were approved.
I get that, but I'm looking at your chart and the math isn't working.
No, the math you're going to see. You have. I'm sorry. Where are we? You had 74 applicants, and in that 74 applicants, you have 14 that are black, 2 Hispanics, 1 Asian Pacific Islander or Indian, and 2 other, for a total of 19. Mm-hmm. So these were the 19 that self-identified.
Minorities only, you're
Minorities
talking
only.
about. Okay, because up on top, you talked about, the new hires on top.
No, that's a different, you're looking at a different.
All right, so all you're tracking are the minorities.
Right, all I'm looking at the minorities, because
Gotcha.
this is the affirmative action office.
I understand.
Okay.
Well, you gave me another column on top of
Yeah,
that.
because it just throws off
throwing me
to
off.
add that extra column of 99.
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I tell you there were total approved of 99.
Yeah, which is up here in the...
Which is, right, and then you have 19 that self-identify.
Gotcha.
I get that. When you add the other 99, it's like, okay, got it.
Accepted.
It's roughly 20%.
So 80% refused not refused, but didn't identify
Chose
themselves.
not to self-identify, yes. Or they were identified as white, male, or female, and they're not included.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay, 19. Okay.
Other questions?
Oh, how many positions were open for where you had this 99 applicants?
Well, let's put it this way. We were told there were between 12 and 18, but that is with attrition, where they always anticipate that, employees will leave, especially with the police exam coming up. I don't know if you had a chance to look at our videos. 2 of the officers on the videos started out as public safety dispatchers, and then they took the police exam. They will move on, but between 12 and 18. But remember, the list is good for a minimum of 1 year and a maximum of 4. So they're looking into the next fiscal year between 12 and 18.
So current positions, you know that number that are actually open without the attrition built in?
No, ma'am.
Okay, if you could let me know that. Not right now, but when you get the information.
Yes, ma'am.
Talking about police or dispatchers?
Dispatchers.
Dispatchers. Okay, that's what I was on. Okay.
Now, if there are any current, they're going to be hired on the current list, not the upcoming list.
Okay.
So that's what you're looking at? Those that are going to be hired on the list that has not yet expired?
I'd like to know what the actual current positions that are open.
Okay.
Making sure that
Well, for
everybody.
clarification, these people can't get hired regardless on that current.
No, they have to be, the current openings, that's the list that is about to expire.
So
Yeah.
this, so the people that take this exam,
Oh, they
make the
yes.
list. There will potentially be 12 to 18.
Correct.
When their hiring cycle comes around.
When the hiring cycle coming up on the new list.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Other questions?
I wanted to basically show you what the hiring was for the second quarter of 2016. The city hired a total of 30 employees. May I say that the city did hire a female firefighter during that session as well. So, yes. And there were also, what you're looking at, there were total of 17 white, 3 females out of 30. But one of them belonged to the fire department.
Questions on this?
I move we accept the report.
And I don't think that we have to step it. It's informational. But that's the size.
It is. It's 5 minutes. It is 5 minutes. If you look at the MWBE report, I don't know whether you have any questions for me. Just wanted to remind you that the water treatment plant sludge is a 3-year contract, so we are now in the 2nd year of that contract. So when you look at that amount, that's the 2nd year. We're beginning the 2nd year.
Questions? Yes,
So on the paving.
Excuse me?
For the paving?
Yes.
1.41% is the...
To date.
Okay. And how
Remember,
long?
the project started in July.
Right.
We've just gotten one report so far. The August report is going to be due coming September.
Do you have the approximate length of this particular project?
It is, this is usually, we say it ends in November, but usually the project ends, but they don't get paid way into winter.
So did we use this company last year? Was Empire Paving with us last year?
No, we did Callahan last year.
We did Callahan. And again, forgive me because I didn't get a chance to compare them, but where was Callahan last year? Did they meet their status last year?
Callahan was
Their
at
action?
10% last year.
They did hit 10.
Yeah, Callahan was at 10.
Okay.
So, Ms. Kajewski, when we see a figure like this, and although the project is ongoing, does the Affirmative Action Office ever reach out to the contractor and say, we realize that the project's ongoing, but your number is quite low? Can you project? I don't know if that's normal practice or not. Do we ever give them feedback to say, we're concerned by this particular statistic? Or
We're always concerned.
Right.
We're always concerned when they are not at 12%.
Right. But do we give them a heads up on that?
Yes, we have that conversation, and when the lack of participation is severe, we involve the mayor's office in that dialogue. Yes, we do.
So would it be maybe good thing to compare where Callahan was this time last year versus where Empire is?
Are you talking about this dollar amount?
No, I'm talking about the 1.41%.
No, I'm sorry. The 1.41%. If you're looking at $56,000 is one, but that is an actual payment that has been made to their MWBE contractors. This is money that they've been paying their MWBE as of 1 month into the project.
Right. But would it be valuable to compare to where Callahan met their goal would be, closer to where they were in the first month of the project? I don't know. Maybe we're not comparing apples to apples.
I'm not too concerned about it. What I'm concerned about is when I ask them for the MWBE report, I want to see how they're paying their minority contractors, and that's why I request that they submit to my office those paychecks to show that they have been paid. As far as the project is concerned, if by October, I notice that we're still at 1%, then I have an issue because this is the first month. If by October they're still at 1%, then we have an issue. We know they're not paying their subcontractors. Not that they're not doing the work, but the subcontractors are not being paid on time.
So maybe if in the first week of first cycle of October, you might be able to just supply us with that. I don't think you need to come to the meeting.
Absolutely.
But if you could just supply us an update, if the clerk would note that for the first cycle in October.
Absolutely.
So we can keep an eye on that.
Just so you understand, that extrapolated out over the full contract is going to give you,
Slightly more than 10%.
yeah, over 10%, could run closer to 14%. So it's really a very preliminary number, because it's based on that first round of disbursement.
First payment.
Yep, that's fine. I just think it's an easy thing for you to let us know. We could just, again, you don't have to come and present, but if you could just send an email so we can just keep my hand.
Well, another thing is, if Callahan was at 1%, I would have worried, but Empire Paving has demonstrated over the years that they're comfortable meeting those numbers.
Now, this is a question. So this is just numbers from the first payment application.
That's from pay application?
Pay application.
Their pay
And
application.
that number is actually running over 10% of what they were paid. They paid $400,000, we've got $56,000 allocated for
Just 1 month, just the month from July.
Right, they've only been paid $400,000, but $56,000 was for their compliance. So in fact, they are doing as well or better than some of the other ones that have had the full thing. It's only because you're referencing the entire contract that the number looks low.
And that was my question, trying to ask if this was the first pay application submitted to your office with these numbers. Because if that's the case, then the reflection is pretty
So
good.
I believe the first pay application had gone in, but that was for material supplies and materials, it did not include MWBE project.
Getting that whole 256.
Done on the
So
project.
you will be able to say if this is
so far.
how much in a month? Is it 2 months duration
That's the percentage. That's
payments? So
That
this
was the
This
percentage.
is the July payment.
July.
This is July payment to
for the
MWBE.
I'm sorry, there's too many conversations going on.
This is July payment to their MWBEs.
Okay. So we still have August and September. Okay.
Yes, we still have
So I
August.
think, yeah.
August did not come in yet. I was hoping to delay my presentation yesterday, but it's not going to come in. It's today's the 5th, and it should be arriving by this week.
Just to follow up with that, if this is July's
This is July.
numbers, I think we are in pretty good shape to maybe go beyond the target, which is good.
And they just
They're
started
actually
in July.
running over 14%.
Yes.
So it's
So we're in good shape.
really a non-issue.
And just to clarify, you said they just started their project in July.
They started the project in June. Yes, they started the project in June.
But this is the first payment.
I get that, yeah.
Anthony, we pay this monthly, the voucher, or is it every 2 weeks?
Every 6 weeks, I would say. 6 weeks. It has to be inspected, re-inspected, make sure the numbers are correct.
Right, because there was one pay out there. There was
Yes.
one payment that was in.
Good. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the good information.
I also want to invite. Thank you. You've received this yellow invitation to our information session for the police exam. We are on target to recruit women and minority officers for the police exam. So we're asking you to help us out. When you meet a young lady or a minority, please share this invitation with them. Another thing about the police exam that is a bit confusing, the minority community may not be familiar with the entire process. They may be familiar with the civil service process, but once you pass the exam, it's that immediate call for the physical, whereby if they don't know how to prepare themselves ahead of time for that phone call, they may not pass the physical. It is, yes, sister. It is a quick, we have this date tomorrow, and after tomorrow, can you come for your what we call the physical agility test, the 1.5-mile run and the sit-up and the push-up. These are the things that I really need to impart to the community and let them know, look, the minute you decide to take the exam, you have to get yourself in shape. You gotta start running, you gotta change that diet, and they need to hear that. If they're from a family where everybody is a police officer or a firefighter, they already know that. But those that do not have generational experience, they will not meet the qualifications for once they pass the exam. So please have them come to the information session. The officers are going to be there. I invite you as well to come and support them and let them know that, this is the face of the new police department.
If I may, can you just mention the address of the location?
Oh, that's right, I am on television.
Yes, so they can see the certified
Yes. The police officer exam information session is going to be September 9, 2016 at 6 p.m. at New Day Christian Empowerment Center. It's 1259 Chrysler Avenue, Schenectady, New York, 12303. You are invited. You are welcome. Please join us, the police department and the officers, and learn about what it takes, all that is needed to become a City of Schenectady police officer. Thank you.
Ms. Kajewski, you were just explaining about the whole physical part. So, and I think that may pertain to others beyond minorities because not everyone's physically fit.
Correct.
So, do you have any written information, like when people come to take the exam or something, just to say this is step 1 and step 2 is this? So it is.
That's what we're doing on Friday. That's what the information session. Pastor Mark has graciously given us space to talk about it. We're going to be there from 6 p.m. until probably 8:30 to answer as many questions the community has about the exam.
Yeah, but earlier you said a lot of people don't show up for the information session. So I was saying during the testing time, because you got to show up for the test. If you're interested.
No, we can't do that at the testing site. No, we can't do that at the and that is an issue. We can't do that at the testing site. It's all civil service time.
Okay. Just trying to figure out a way to get it to everybody who really needs to know that information.
They can reach my office. The email is policeexam@schenectadycounty.com. They can call the office, stop by. Civil service does have a packet. I can make copies for them. But at the end of the day, to hear it from someone who's been through the process, and actually an opportunity to network with the officers also, is a great opportunity. So, yes, encourage them to show up. We're going to have more than one information session. There's going to be another one at the college, and I'm hoping the different churches will open their doors and help us. If you know a facility that would welcome us, we would love to come and talk to them about the police exam.
Sure.
Okay. All right, and we will move on to appointments to the Affirmative Action Review Board.
Submitted for your consideration 3 individuals who serve on the board now and have asked for reappointment, and there are 2 vacancies, and so I've submitted 2 names for you for those 2 vacancies.
Resumes, questions?
I'm moving.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anything else to come before government operations this evening?
Move to adjourn.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. Thank you.
John Ferrari is Chair of Public Service. The next page is another page.
I only have one case.
No.
It's on the back. It's on the back.
I don't have that.
Well, that's probably there's a good reason.
I can scroll back up.
Here you go, Liz.
Thank you.
Oh, you scribbled
I
on.
can scroll to my, okay, let's see here. Public service and utilities, Ms. Porterfield, you want to take care of that? Let's go back to my agenda. Oh, thank you, Nijkerk.
All right. Call to order public service and utilities. There's 4 items on the agenda. The first one, for a contract for the electronic waste recycling is still on. Oh, you're going to be here for all 4?
3.
Only good. Oh, Lisa. Ms. Carranza.
The information you have in front of you tonight is a recommendation to award the bid to E-Lot out of Glenmont, New York, and it's for the disposal of our e-waste. E-waste is what we collect on the curbside, keyboards, TVs, the older TVs, still the console TVs, the old portable TVs that are more original. They're still out there. There are 2 responsible bidders. The e-waste was the lowest responsible bid. It's roughly $12 a ton less than we were paying last year. It varies, and we should see over the years that this comes down, because as these things are removed out of everybody's homes, these large TVs, console TVs, these large portable TVs will slowly be depleted, and we're picking up the flat screen TVs. They provide the tractor trailer, the pallets, we load them on pallets, put them in the tractor trailer, and the trailer's full. They come and remove it and dispose of properly.
Any questions?
What was the actual, did we pick up, I think the contract started in April to April, we picked up an e-waste?
Yeah, I can tell you tonnage, or dollars-wise in 15, we spent $41,000 on e-waste. So far this year, we're at $21,000. Okay?
Other questions?
So, I still...
About 114 tons of e-waste were taken in 2015.
How many tons?
114.
114? So why are we anticipating 120 to 140 this year?
It's an estimate of what's out there. There's still a lot of TVs out there.
But is this the recommendation of the 46.5? Is that flat rate, or we're just going to pay for what they take?
Per ton.
Per ton. So this is an estimate, the 46,000 also?
Yeah, it's an estimate. We're only charged based on the tonnage once they scale up.
And then as we get into the other 2 items, I think the single stream, I think it's going to be simpler, and people will clearly put the e-waste aside where it may end up in your regular garbage now if you have a keyboard or something, so you can put it kind of an education process, and it's just a conservative budget number to reflect the potential shifts that we're going to do in the collection.
Other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, discussion of the single stream recycling, Mr. Tom.
As you're aware, I think we've been discussing this for a little while now. Recycling operations have changed. We've had separated at the curb, hidden plastic, plastic, paper. What happens at the recycling center now is it's mixed together. They become more efficient with their sorting mechanisms, so they put everything together. So we recommend to go to single stream recycling. We're going through other times. The next 2 weekends, we have local paper online on our city website. We have the stickers made out now for distribution downstairs. We will not, if they still have stuff separated at the curb, we're still good single stream. It's just that somebody might call and just say, we're seeing it all go in the same truck. That's what it's supposed to do now. We feel it's a lot more efficient for us with our vehicles, our manpower. We will be handing out the stickers. They'll be replacing the ones that are on that we have in stock now. But if they still continue to use the 2 containers, it's not going to change anything. We're just going to single stream.
Ms. Carranza.
Is there any education? I know in the past we've had a considerable amount of education. Is there anything planned as far as educating our public in hopes of getting more people to recycle?
We'll continue
that much simpler?
with the recycling committee with some advertisements. One of the biggest changes is cardboard. Pizza boxes are now recyclable. We have some literature made out, so the items that are in there now, plastic tops, beyond the containers that you recycle. So we should, we'll be pulling more recyclables out. In the past, you couldn't take wet cardboard. You take wet cardboard. That's heavy. When we put that into a packer, that equates to more weight that we're paying for disposal. So we can move all the cardboard down through single stream recycling and pizza boxes with, the The smaller plastic containers, they're all acceptable now. We have some handouts, we'll pass them around with some of the new highlighted things that are acceptable now.
So excited.
Mr. LaFawn, is there, you talked about the containers, and some people don't put their recyclables in containers, they just kind of bags out there, all kinds of packaging.
It has to be in a container, it's recyclable. And like I said, if they don't have the new sticker, it's not going to matter for us. We're still going to recycle. But if it's in a bag and it's tied up, we don't know. We don't know it's in a plastic bag.
I would also, if I could, if you haven't already, I would love to loop you into the Schenectady Recycle Group because they are great at spreading the word. They've done a lot of work in this area. And just for a point of clarification, for people who have garbage day coming up tomorrow even, is this something they can start tomorrow or?
Actually, we weren't going to roll it out for 2 weeks. We're going to put advertisement in the paper for 2 weeks, get it on the city's website for a couple weeks, and then we'll adjust our schedule with our trucks and our staffing, go to the single stream.
So what does that be?
2 Mondays from yesterday.
2 Mondays from yesterday.
So this is the sticker?
That's the
That'll be the new sticker.
So our
next council
meeting.
Yeah.
This
The
is
next
pretty big.
committee meeting, right?
Yeah, because you're in one container.
Well, that's something, we'll have to announce to next week.
And this will be an ongoing education process, so as people are out to neighborhood associations, community groups, church groups, it's to spread the word about this, so that,
The biggest thing is
done different ways and how we move into this format and looking for,
we
get
get
a high level of compliance over a reasonable period of time.
Mr. Riggi?
What percentage are we at now, recycling?
I couldn't tell you. I'd have to go back. But I'll shoot you an email. I shoot everyone an email tomorrow.
What are we expecting then after single stream?
Single stream.
What's the goal?
It's really up to the resident to recycle.
Yeah.
We all have big goals for recycling, but it's up to the homeowner. You're either going to recycle or you're not going to recycle.
Without penalty.
But,
My opinion is if we don't have penalty, why would people recycle?
But it's very difficult to judge your recycles. If you have an elderly person living all alone, you may not see the recycling container out there every week. They may not generate that many cans. So do we assume they're not recycling?
But I think your drivers know who's recycling. I think they could tell you who's recycling and who isn't. There's some people that just don't recycle. And that we're subsidizing all those people that aren't recycling.
You have to want to recycle and want to, it's education.
But can't we use scanners? Can't the trucks have scanners? I mean, something to look in the future. This is the 21st century.
We're looking at those options going forward to be able to better track it. Stopping short of saying we're going to do aggressive enforcement through phasing, hope people act in the proper way, and then look at those options as we go forward.
A lot of people use frozen vegetables versus a can. So how do you get it, unrecycled? It's hard to, judge the curve.
Well, then maybe, excuse me, let me just finish my question. Then maybe we should reward people that do recycle. Then maybe a discount on their garbage fee. Maybe that's what we should do so it's advantageous for somebody to do it. Because just trying to teach them doesn't seem to work. If we don't have people arrested for speeding, people will be speeding all the time. So I think we have to look at something, maybe then reward people that do recycle. Do it the opposite way. And that way, maybe we'll get a little better compliance. Just my opinion.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish. Go ahead.
No, so this will be more efficient. We are hoping to collect more and pull more out of the trash stream, the normal trash stream itself, by recycling cardboard, pizza boxes. So hopefully, just putting it out in one container will, have people recycle a little bit more rather than separating themselves.
And in terms of the education piece, I think it's important that you let people know that there's a money savings that go along with the recycling, and that will help because people want to save money. Additionally, Mr. Riggi talked about giving them an incentive. Is there any way possible, because some communities do this, where we could provide, and I guess I should be looking at you, the recycling container? Because sometimes, if it's a city container, maybe it'll be taken better care of, because some people's recycling containers get pretty damaged because they're just, they're just kind of like thrown back or whatever. But so if it's a city container, maybe it'll be taken care of a little bit better. I don't know. But we may consider giving people, having city containers, not giving them, but, having containers that actually belong to the city that they put out and put their recycling in. So they're not, first of all, incurring that cost, and also they don't have concern about theirs being damaged, because I have heard those concerns, not only about recycling, but about trash cans as well.
Probably a lot more careful if there is a thing to replace it, other parts, we replace it all the time.
Well, I'm not talking about them doing the damage. I'm talking about when the garbage is getting picked up and they're just thrown back out there, or the recycling. So it's something we might be able to consider providing those. Any other?
A couple questions. So, Paul, so we're going to be able to use a 30-gallon receptacle then, instead of those little ones?
Continue to use their, a lot of people have the small little...
right, the little one, right.
They can still continue to use that. There's not a required container.
Okay.
The biggest thing is we get some people who notice that if a recycle truck goes by, if they're going to put paper in for the tins and plastics, they may be confused and say they're not recycling, but we are recycling. It's just going in the same stream. And that's the biggest thing is that, if somebody does notify you that I saw a recycling truck going down, they're not separating.
And just one more follow-up question. Are we looking to purchase any of the vehicles, the single-stream vehicles?
We have one.
We have one.
But no, we can use compartmentized, and actually you can use a packer now, because if it's only going to be one, you can use a packer and dump it at the recycle facility.
So it would be the same crew then picking up our garbage as picking up the recyclables and going into the same truck, you're saying? Don't you?
There may be a possibility of a packer truck to perform recycling. We're still going to separate, okay? Garbage and trash, but we may be able to use a packer to pick up the recyclables.
All right, so it's two separate vehicles. And again, are we anticipating any cost savings? Do we ask that? Is there any cost savings?
Single stream.
Is there going to be cost savings in this somewhere down there? I know Ms. Porterfield spoke about that. Just efficiencies, not really.
Efficiencies and cost savings, because we're not going to have as many vehicles on the road. There'll be some savings in fuel, some savings in vehicle maintenance. So there will be some savings, and we'll make it more efficient.
Very good.
Any other questions? Or public service?
Yeah, you're right.
This is
discussion, right?
Just discussion, that's right. Yep. Okay, the next item up is the discussion about the yard waste pickup schedule.
We discussed this earlier in the year, and we already worked the policy that our yard waste pickup will go from April 1st to November 30th. Okay? And there'll be a 2-week period directly after Christmas to pick up, as we always do, Christmas trees.
Okay.
From December 26th for a period of 2 weeks. And maybe a couple of trees that we'll look at this.
February.
But usually the leaves, everything is picked up by the end of November. And, we'll have the season for yard waste closed from, December 1st essentially through April 1st.
Wonderful. This is wonderful. Can we get it on the website?
Yes, we will get everything on the website. We just wanted to bring it to the council first, and then we'll do our job and put it on the website and making information about that.
I think it's great.
And people need to use the appropriate bags,
Yeah, those, that remains the same. And we do still pick up bundled material if it's bundled in certain length and it's item bundled. So we still continue. Nothing will change when we pick up, how we pick. It's just in the schedule.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Ricky?
So when aren't we picking up?
We won't pick up yard waste from December 1st to December 25th. We'll pick up Christmas trees from the 26th for roughly 2 weeks. We know some people keep them a little longer, but we'll get them. But we won't start the general yard waste pickup until April 1st again.
Until April 1st. So there won't basically be anything other than Christmas tree between December 1st and April 1st?
Snow.
What are people going to do when they clean their yards? And where are they going to stack their bags up? Because we did have some warm weather. You can have a warm March where people want to clean their yards, or December.
And this is why we have to have a schedule, because this came up in warm days in February. People wanted their yard waste picked up. We didn't have yard waste trucks up. We're still we hire seasonals and we adapt to different variations in our pickup schedule. And if we set out a schedule, I think April 1st is still Easter. Sometimes there's a little snow on the ground sometimes.
Yeah, in December, there could be no snow on the ground. People could want to rake leaves, too. I mean, I think December 1st, I'm not really in agreement with that, December 1st. Because people could be cleaning up their yard from fall leaves.
I'm open to suggestions. You asked me to come up with a schedule. I came up with a schedule that December 1st, we figured we would shut down our yard waste.
But I mean, it's efficiency-wise then. If people are stacking the stuff up, might bring 50 bags out front, then how does that make it more efficient for our guys picking it up? When they do pick it up, they're going to have to pick it up eventually.
Meaning doing late fall cleanup?
Yeah, late fall or early spring.
If you have a recommendation you want to give back to me, you've asked me to come up with a date, a period. If it's not, something you want to discuss, I'm open to it.
Ms. Braza, you have something?
This came about from the specific circumstances of February, I think, being warm or whatever. And it was always an unspoken rule that we did it per the schedule, but we didn't have anything posted anywhere. And I feel fine. I'm fine with just having a schedule. I mean, we're always going to have some adjustment to the, sometimes it's warm and sometimes it's not. But I just think as long as we educate people as to when it is, I'm happy to stick by Mr. Lafon's recommendation, just as long as people know. Maybe you might have to leave the yard waste in your shed, or you might see it being dumped into the garbage. And I don't know, but...
Or see it in the street. That's where it's going to wind up.
Well, you're not going to leave it on the side of the street. So
we would leave it on the street. We would handle complaints as we would always do. But we have to start somewhere. By starting with the schedule. And we know there are some people who put stuff out and they will call. And we try and accommodate everybody. But we have to have some type of regular schedule. And hopefully people will adhere to that. Adjust our schedule when they clean your yard or start cleaning the yard. We can't predict when snow is going to stop or when it's going to start. We can't predict when warm weather is going to come, or we have 3 extra weeks of warm weather in late February or early March, and somebody doesn't waste their yard. We've got to have something where people aren't calling saying, I expect this, and you need to come here. So if you have some type of schedule, sort of, a policy, we're starting point.
I just like the fact that
This is Rainey Mudaviran.
Just an observation. So if someone should put out garbage outside of this schedule,
garbage?
Yard waste, would they be ticketed in a complaint filed?
No, I don't think we would take them. We would probably let them know that our yard waste pickup is between April 1st and November 30th.
So
they're always dispose of themselves. There is a county yard waste facility. Put it in their car, in their trunk, and put their bags in there, and they can drive over to the county yard waste and dispose of it. That's open.
So we might have a situation where homeowners refuse to take it back in, and it's all over the street.
That's what I said.
We have seen situations where they have put on their curb.
You asked me to come up with a schedule. If you're asking me now to pick up yard waste all year long, I don't think it's realistic.
But that's not easy. You can't accommodate that with your vehicles. Is that what you're saying to us? All year long, you would have to have the vehicle.
There's a packer that goes out. It's a regular garbage truck with a packer that compacts and condenses the yard waste. And that goes out. That goes to the county. We get the bags they use are recyclable. We can dump those at the county. So those trucks, that particular vehicle, will be assigned yard waste on a normal schedule between April and December. And then for the couple weeks of after Christmas, same thing, we pick up the Christmas trees on a packer and condense them into the county recycling center.
Okay, so let me just ask you, it's within the realm of possibility that if we just get this seriously warm spell, that we can adjust that and have them pick it up if it just happens, this global warming.
We adjust when we get that early snowstorm.
Okay, all right.
On the streets.
That's what I want to know. If we can adjust, if that happened. Ms. Braza.
The bottom line is, this has been happening all along. It was just never written before. And then we had gray area, right? People saying, I didn't know there was a policy. And when I asked what the policy was, it was roughly around April 1st. So this at least gives people a policy. It was the policy that was always grayly in place. Anyway, this just gives it some context. We've always done this. For many years, we didn't have a date. It was always April 1st-ish. you know, so give some more structure to it, to the advantage of our citizens.
Other communities have deadlines, they have schedules, and that's when they pick up their yard waste.
Well, I mean, you provide the information, it's a place to start. People are very clear on what it is, and, you know, we'll take it as it goes. Other comments or concerns or questions?
I'm not on this committee.
No, I thought maybe you were on. No. Okay. And the last item on the agenda, Medicab regulations discussion. Toronto.
Yes, so I met with Sergeant Kerrigan, and, you know, there's some things that we certainly can discuss. I believe that Mr. Palatico reported to us that legally we could have oversight over Medicab, so that's a good thing. Right now, we don't have any way of knowing what Medicabs are running in Schenectady, which I thought was pretty interesting. So a couple things need to happen. First of all, we would need to ask the companies that have medallions within the city if they're running Medicabs, because many of them are. And then we would need to identify on an ongoing basis what Medicabs are coming in. Now, this would be much, much easier if we had them required to have a medallion, which we can do, because then at least the sergeant could, when he saw a Medicab that didn't have a medallion, would know that they're not to be operating in the city of Schenectady. He said his recommendation would be to create a list of VIN numbers, companies, etc. as we go forward. A couple of questions he had for me. First of all, is the council interested in attaching a cost to the medallions for medical cabs? And are we interested in regulating drivers the same as the other cab companies? I thought that it made sense that we would have the requirement of the background check every other year for the drivers, as we do for our regular full paid or regular pay taxis now, but maybe that would be in lieu of requiring them to pay for a medallion, because that would be an additional cost to them. The ambulette, as our city clerk did some research on, is already highly regulated, and that's the one that the state has oversight on, but not the Medicabs. The Medicabs, they do not. So that is what I have found out, and I also have a little bit of information with regard to Mr. Riggi brought up, and it's about as a timeline to adjust the meter. So I guess we can chop up the first part first, and then we'll actually.
So, am I understanding you say that absolutely no one has oversight of any of these Medicabs?
Pretty much.
Well, okay, one of the Medicab owners, I had a very different discussion with him, and he explained what he had to do for the state. So is it a matter of what... No, he calls himself a Medicab, so that's what I'm saying. Is it a matter of what they're calling themselves? Because on his vehicle, it clearly says Medicab. So I think that a place to start is to see if at the state level who they've approved or licensed or whatever it is that term that they use that reside in the city of Schenectady. I think that's a place to start, and then we can move forward from there if we have others that are just kind of like, I'm not even sure how you capture them all, because I see many. Yeah. And so I think that's a place to start first and foremost. And if in fact the state is already regulating the drivers, et cetera, I don't know that we need to, as I said before, duplicate that effort. So if they have to meet all those regulations for those that are regulated by the state, that we need to then do that again. So I think that we would need to take that into consideration. I know for a fact that if drivers have certain medical conditions, they're prohibited from driving for a certain period of time until they're sure that, you know, they won't pass out behind the wheel or something like that, and that's going to the regulations.
I still think it comes down to whether they're an ambulette or a Medicab. I also met with another Medicab company, and they said they would welcome any regulation on Medicabs because there is none, and they reach to a higher standard, and they'd like to be recognized for that. So the ambulettes, I believe, also are the cars or the vehicles that can take wheelchairs. correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Any mechanized type of or accessible vehicles are considered ambulance. The minicabs would be under the category of somebody that is going to and from a doctor's office or that type of transportation. And according to the Department of Health, there is no regulation.
I think we should look a little bit more deeply, really, because I know that, for instance, if somebody wants to go to the doctor, they don't get to call a Medicab and say, I'm going to the doctor. The Medicabs are, their list of who's going to the doctor is sent to them, and that's how they get that. So,
So you'll look into that and bring it back to us?
I certainly am willing to do that.
Okay, because I think we need to move forward on it, because I understand something much different, so I don't want to linger on this too long as far as having oversight, because I've had personal conversations myself. So if you would bring that back to us in 2 weeks, if you would put that back on the agenda for 2 weeks, that would be great. The other issue was recalibrating our meters. And I spoke with Mr. Caputo from County Weights and Measures, and it's a matter of our police department reaching out to our cabs, having them reset their meters, but then they have to be tested by County Weights and Measures. They can take anywhere from 8 to 10 cabs a day, depending on a number of factors, and Mr. Caputo felt as if a fair amount of time for them to test them, re-sticker them, they actually lock seal them, would be a January 1st deadline. So
He told me something different when I talked to him. That's strange. So he's saying January 1st now?
he felt that would, I said 3 months, he said if you make it January 1st, that will work out great for us. I don't care, we can
Still 3
push
months.
the envelope and move on too, but in talking to the entities that would actually, seal.
That's who I was talking to, too. He called me, as a matter of fact, so it's kind of
I
strange.
just spoke.
Yeah, well,
So how many, so all,
And what was his recommendation to you, Mr. Rigby?
I believe at the time, and that was a cycle ago, wasn't it, when we first discussed this? He said middle of October would have worked. That's what he told me.
Well, he said, given the fact that there's been some construction on Helderberg Avenue,
Right.
and the fact that because school is starting up, the police don't like that many cabs clustered in that area with, parents and school kids and this and that, his recommendation would be January 1st. But I'm
good, so January 1st could be our the outside date.
absolutely everything needs
Yeah.
to be done by
Right.
then.
So if you can get it done by the middle of October, it would be great, but at least they have until January 1st.
But
Well,
the only
you know-
thing is with that, as I brought up before, you can have some cab company may just want to lay back, and he'll be undercutting the other cab companies because he's going to be at a cheaper rate. So it's really not fair that way. I don't see it as being fair because somebody can run around, wait till the end of the deadline. Somebody else may want to, have their cabs up to snuff
Okay.
before, so there's something that,
I will get in touch again with Mr. Caputo, and we'll put this out for 2 weeks and see if he is comfortable in tightening up the cycle.
if he has an idea where we can have everybody, as of this date, you will be at that rate.
Well, that's what he said.
Yeah,
January
they said,
1st.
yeah. Well, then
But I will see if
that's,
he's willing to massage that.
yeah.
That was his recommendation today.
So we're going to put that back on for 2 weeks as well.
Yes. And then it'll be January 15th.
Maybe not January.
I will ask him if he can, there's 2 of them in the office, so.
Any other questions or concerns? Come before Public Service and Utilities? If not,
Motion we adjourn.
second. All those in favor? We're adjourned.
Call to order claims. Motion to go into executive session. I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Chuck, you got it?